Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to do our usual thing, and we need to have a chat now that the pre-releases for Silver Tempest have started this past weekend, and we need to say very clearly, stop buying singles. Now, just a quick note before we get going here. I know at this stage a bunch of you are going, Wassy, you tell us this every time a new set comes out. Yes, so why am I still making this video? Two reasons. First of all, people still aren't always listening, because these sales are happening. Secondly, I know a lot of you, what you really want to know isn't, hey, stop buying singles. A lot of you listening know that already. What you really want to know is, what is a sensible price for these cards going to be? So when I'm talking about these cards in this video, I am going to go through and just have a little bit of a look at roughly what these cards should settle at. And obviously, I'm not making any guarantees or promises or anything stupid like that. But I do feel pretty confident that we can have a little bit of a look here and try and figure out roughly what these cards should be selling at. So I think we need to start off having a little bit of a look at Serena. You see, an interesting thing happens with supporter cards over in Japan. Female supporter cards over in Japan, popular female characters over in Japan, end up being very, 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 very expensive. And over in Japan, right now, Full Art Serena is a very, very expensive card. And I am delighted about this, because I was lucky enough to actually pull Serena from one of my boxes of Incandescent Arcana. This makes me a very, very happy Wassy. Over on Card Rush at the moment, that is a good site to use for Japanese prices. Full Art Serena is currently selling for 61,800 yen. That is the actual price it's selling for. That is a $415 card. That is very, very, very expensive. That is not the way it works over here. What was the first one of these sold on eBay for? Well, the first one of these was sold on eBay for $200. That is very expensive, ladies and gentlemen. Very expensive indeed. If I look for listings at the moment, the top two listings are $250 and $165. That is very, very expensive indeed. Here's the thing though. Do you want to know the most expensive full art supporter in the Pokemon TCG right now? I did a video about it a couple of months ago. It's Boss's Orders. That is the original one, the one with Giovanni. And that is, as it stands at the moment, over on TCG Player, a $40 card. That is the most expensive full art supporter card in the Sword and Shield era right now, is Boss's Orders at a $40 card. We could look at something like Irida as an example. Very expensive card over in Japan. Hugely hyped, just like Serena was. And it is currently sitting here over on TCG Player at a $35 card. So in a world where the most expensive supporter cards are $35 and $40, why are we spending $200 on a supporter card? The set isn't out yet. We've just done the pre-releases. There is almost no chance whatsoever Serena settles above $50. And maybe Serena is the thing that breaks it. It's a very playable card. So maybe Serena ends up as a $50 card. But a $200 card? No, ladies and gentlemen, that is absolutely ludicrous. That is a ridiculous price. The one that really gets me at the moment is the gold Rayquaza V Max, because people just full on aren't paying attention to this. If we look at the listings as it is at the moment, what people are actually trying to get for the card, it is currently being listed all over the place for around about $50. The top three listings here are $58, $50, and at least, I suppose, mercifully, someone's only trying to sell it for $30. Well, if we go and have a look at the sold listings for this particular Rayquaza, we can see that people are generally paying somewhere in the region of $25. What are you doing? Also, right, sorry. I should say this. I say this every time. This is actually really, really important. Obviously, you might have a reason for buying these early. Maybe you're getting them graded and you want to have the first graded card, or you just don't care about the money and you just want to get the card now. That's absolutely fine. If you've got a reason why you want this, that is absolutely fine. What I am telling you is that if you're buying it now, you're massively overpaying. If you're okay with that, that's absolutely fine. But please do just bear in mind that some people do have reasons for buying it. And if you have your reasons, you go for it, ladies and gentlemen. No judgment here. I'm just giving you a bit of friendly advice. Take Pikachu, right? Pikachu was always going to be the most popular of these gold cards. Pikachu was always going to be the number one. And when we saw Lost Origin pre-releases happening, this was a $55-ish card. That's what people were paying for it. $55. And I heard an awful lot of, well, yes, okay, fine. The gold cards are often incredibly cheap. But here's the thing. This is Pikachu. Pikachu's different. And you know what? Yeah, Pikachu is different. Pikachu's a $10 card. In a world where the massively hyped gold Pikachu couldn't settle above $12, why are we paying more than $10 for Rayquaza? Rayquaza is probably going to end up settling down here quite nicely at about a $5 card. That is probably what's going to happen. Bearing in mind, Mew is also way more popular. Oh, okay, a tiny bit more popular, probably. I don't know. It's a $10 card as well. If Pikachu and Mew are $10 cards, there is absolutely no way this is going to be above a $10 card. Most of these are less than $5, these gold cards. The pull rates are great. Pikachu was never a $50 card. That was laughable. Rayquaza isn't a $30 to $50 card. That is also absolutely laughable. There is no reason people should be paying this. And it's happening with the Trainer Gallery card as well. The Trainer Gallery card is being, as in the character super rare, I should say, because the gold is also a Trainer Gallery card. But a character super rare is also being listed for a ridiculous price. People, the top two listings on eBay right now are $120 and $200. That's what people are listing this for over on eBay right now. That is absolutely absurd. Oh, come on, Wassy. Nobody's paying close to that amount of money, are they? Yeah, unfortunately. Here's a couple of listings that sold for $100 or more. And okay, fine, it's only $100. Come on, Wassy. That's not too much of a rip-off, is it? And the answer is yes. Absolutely. That is far too high. Way too high, ladies and gentlemen. This is not going to be a $100 card. And again, I can prove this just like I proved it with the gold card by looking at Pikachu V Max. Because if we go and have a look at the Trainer Gallery of Pikachu, the character super rare, bearing in mind it's Pikachu and it's red, it's like a $45 card. So the chances of Rayquaza settling above $40 are almost non-existent. These Trainer Gallery cards, as a general rule, settle very, very low. And sure, Rayquaza's popular. So fine, there's probably a chance Rayquaza settles slightly higher than the average. But higher than the Pikachu? Nah. Not happening, ladies and gentlemen. Not happening. But what about the big boy? What about Lugia V? Because look, we all know at this stage, that Lugia V is going to be the big card in the set. It's not a surprise, there's no mystery here. Lugia V is going to be the big one. That is going to be the one that everybody is after. How much is that currently selling for? And this one's going to get interesting, right? So I got 3 sold listings here for you. One for $500, one best offer accepted at $650, one best offer accepted at $590. Okay. What's going to happen here? And obviously we know that over in Japan it's a ridiculous price. I showed you that the other day. But also, it's not necessarily like I've shown you with Serena. It's not necessarily fair to compare this to Japanese prices. Because actually, when it comes down to it, over in Japan, things are a little bit different, and lately the high-end cards are just ridiculous. You know, Lugia V over in Japan is settling at an 80,000 yen card. That makes it a $540 card. And obviously that's super expensive, but hang on a second. Are we going by Japanese prices here? Because that's generally not a great idea. Now, remember, as it stands at the moment, the absolute pinnacle, the grail card that can be pulled from packs in the Sword and Shield era is Umbreon VMAX. And that's got a market price over on TCG Player right now of $520. That is a card that came out in Sword and Shield 7, Silver Tempest is Sword and Shield 12, featuring Umbreon. And look, Lugia is popular, but I don't think Lugia is Umbreon territory, although it might be. I don't know. They're both top end, all right? But Umbreon has stood the test of time in a set that sells out and cannot be found at retail price. You are not going to beat Umbreon. Even if this is a little bit of an anomaly, it is not beating out Umbreon, so anything above $500 is still ludicrous. These eBay listings right now that I showed you a second ago are basically telling us that Lugia is going to end up as a more expensive card than the Umbreon, which has been out for 5 sets and has stood the test of time and is in a set that you cannot pick up for retail. And people are paying more for this? Do yourself a favour, right? Here's a nice little hint from your pal Wassy, if you're watching this far into the video. If you're thinking, hey, I'm going to go and spend $500 on an alternate art Lugia, stop. Go and buy an Umbreon. I'm not saying Lugia won't overtake Umbreon. As I'm always telling you, all I can do is give you my best analysis of the best information that we have. Things could change. Things could surprise us. But right now, if you're paying more for Lugia than Umbreon, I disagree heavily, I think is the right way to put it. I mean, look, let's go and look at Giratina, all right? Giratina V was the last card in, and in Lost Origin, that was the last card that was crazy, super, mega hyped. And that got as high as $270 and is now rocking $220. It took a sharp turn up and then came down quite nicely. Okay, this is apparently more hyped than Giratina. And people think it's going to settle higher than Giratina. It probably will, honestly. This probably is going to be a more expensive card than Giratina. I have absolutely no issue with this. Because the fact of the matter is, as it stands at the moment, Lugia is more popular, and it's another very playable card, and yeah, fine. Giratina really started off at about the $300 mark, picture on screen here, and it settled in at about $220. Lugia is going to be more expensive. There is a chance, and a decent chance, honestly, that Lugia settles in at number 2 behind Umbreon. But remember, Charizard's a $200 card. And Giratina's a $200 card. And the only one that's really broken out into ridiculous territory is Umbreon. And sure, Lugia's had a very fast start. And Lugia looks like it is going to settle at number 2. And I don't think you're going to be picking up Lugia for $200 anytime soon. I'm sorry, I wish I could tell you were. But $500-$600? More than a Moonbreon? No. No, ladies and gentlemen. So look, when it comes to things like the Gold Rayquaza, yeah, that's going to be like a $5 to $10 card. When it comes to things like Serena, that's probably going to be a $40, $50 card at the most. People are overpaying for this kind of hilariously right now. When it comes to the alternate art Lugia, I still think this is the worst time to buy. But do keep an eye on that one. That one could end up being very high. But again, cannot stress this enough. $600 card? No. $500 card? No. Remember, as it stands at the moment, the new set is coming. Everyone's super hyped. A few people have pulled this at their pre-release. And they're the only ones selling and everyone's rushing to get it. Give it till November 11th. Set comes out. the number on sale explodes, the price will come down. And then it will start creeping up again, and it will never end up being a super cheap card, alright? That's never going to happen. But come on, ladies and gentlemen, right now, far too expensive. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. One day I'm going to stop making these videos because people are going to stop paying ridiculous prices between pre-release and the release. But until now, hopefully, even if you already knew the message, you've now got a nice bit of context as to roughly how these cards are going to shape out. But now it's over to you guys. Tell me which cards in Silver Tempest you want. Tell me which ones you're going to be picking up as singles. But do me a favour and give it a couple of weeks, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games and all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel. You can get some bonus podcasts for answer all of your questions. You can join a Discord and chat Pokemon with us. And you can get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Javier Garcia, who has been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So thank you for all the long-time support, and thank you for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.